What's good, Wizards fans? It's your hosts, the real Ed Oliver and Brandon Scott. Today we are going to react to Wes Unseld Jr.'s media press conference opening up for a training camp. And is it a problem if Bilal plays in the G League this year? Let's get started.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. Here today with my guy, Brandon Scott, myself, the real Ed Oliver. Today we're going to react to Wes Unseld Jr.'s press conference. On Twitter, a lot of people are going crazy over a quote from Wes Unseld Jr., so I'm going to read that one first. We're going to get to the biggest quote that stood out from the day. If you are familiar with Twitter/X, this is from Bijan Todd. He works for Monumental Sports Network, formerly NBC Sports Washington. He put out a tweet saying that Wes Unseld Jr. on Bilal Coulibaly playing for the Wizards versus the Go-Go. This question was asked by Candace Buckner. And Wes Unseld Jr. went on to say, quote, "It'll be both. All of our guys will have the opportunity." So that was a question about if Bilal will play in a Go-Go or play for the regular team. Then Wes ends his statement by saying, quote, "At some point, you're going to need the young guys to contribute," end quote. So a lot of people were up in arms about his answer, saying that Bilal possibly he said that Bilal will be doing both, playing in the G League and playing for the regular team. What was your initial reaction from the question? And from Wes Unseld Jr.'s answer, and did it give you any concerns about what his plan is for the upcoming season for Bilal Coulibaly?
Upon reading it, man, I wasn't too concerned because I kind of figured that if you look at how the roster is structured, these veteran contracts, man, they hold a couple people back. Johnny Davis, what do they do with Johnny? So the thing about Bilal, can they, depending on how they set up the depth chart, could they get him minutes? Yeah. Are they going to be significant? Probably not. Obviously, Shemet's going to get a lot of minutes. Gallinari's going to get a lot of minutes. You'll see what they got in DeLon. You'll see if Tyus is really that guy at point. So it's going to be all about trying to boost the value of these veteran expiring deals. So my thing is this. If he's not going to get significant minutes, let him get significant minutes with the Go-Go. Let him get his confidence up. Because here's the thing. Look, people have short memory when it comes to Johnny Davis, man. What's the biggest thing with him is that he came out the gate, he struggled. And then his confidence hit rock bottom. So, and then he went to the Go-Go, got his confidence back. So, you throw Bilal out there. Well, look, we know Bilal, he has some work to do. Defensively, he's there. What we saw in Summer League, and I get it as Summer League, but Summer League showed that, look, he has the potential to be an all-NBA defender. I mean, he can defend. Chasing down block. Come on. So, but offensively, he's got work. And that's where they can work with him at the Kansas City Go-Go. They can work on a fast release because they work with Johnny. Johnny, his shooting got better, but his shot got uglier. I don't know how that works out, but it did. But they're definitely going to get him right. And so I think that if he's not going to get significant minutes, why not? At least he can put 25, 30, maybe 35 minutes a night with the Go-Go, get his confidence up. And then when it's time after the deadline or if injuries happen and they bring him up, then let him get acclimated to the speed and then let him go from there. So I think I'm not tripping too much. Now, obviously, when you're looking at your first round pick, especially a pick that you traded up for, you want him to have the immediate impact. But I really take true what they said about development. They're trying to develop him right, and he definitely needs to be developed. So, they're going to take the slow approach with this. They're really going to they're trying to rebuild right. Take their time. So, looking at this timeline, what they're trying to do, I don't have a problem with it.
Right? Yeah. I get why a lot of the fan base is frustrated because you want to see your young guy hit the ground running. You want to see him play, especially on a team that is projected not to win many games. We know we're a rebuilding team. You want the young guys to get all the playing time that they can get with the regular team, but it's going to be a slow developmental process. And Will Dawkins said they're not going to take shortcuts, so you don't want to take any shortcuts with Bilal. You brought up the Summer League. We saw some good things and we saw some bad things. It was a roller coaster ride for Bilal. The ball handling his he dribbles the ball really high. He got the ball taken from him in the Pacers game. Jarris Walker ripped him, and he lost the ball a few times. But he got better as he went along. The shot has a long way to go. The three-point shot has a long way to go. He hit 1-3 finally, like in one of the last games of the summer league. Definitely has to get stronger in the weight room. But defensively, yeah, I think he definitely can contribute. The chase down blocks, the steals, his long arms, the wingspan, all that. The athleticism is there. Finishing in transition is there. Had a couple and ones as well. But yeah, he just had an up and down summer league. You don't want to base everything off summer league, but I think there's definitely room for him to develop. And him playing the G League is not a bad thing. I remember they said they sized up, and that was Tommy who said that they sized up Corey Kispert for a G League jersey, and then he ended up playing. So it could happen with Bilal. Maybe they size him up for a G League jersey, but he ends up playing. But the thing is, we do have a lot of veterans on this team. You heard him talk about Gallinari, and Gallinari played with Wes. He was Wes coach Gallinari with the Nuggets. Gallinari has a connection with Michael Winger. He has a connection with Will Dawkins at OKC. He basically Travis Schlenk with the Hawks. Yeah. So Gallinari's going to play, man. And Wes said that Gallinari, you can play him as a stretch 5 at the 4 and the 5. So he's going to play. We don't have a lot of bigs anyway, so he probably is going to be playing the 5. But you look at the depth chart too, man. Playing time is going to be tough. I mean, before the trade deadline, before they trade all these veterans, Shamet is going to get playing time.
Yep.
Of course, Denny's got to get playing time. They got to see what they want to do with his contract and see if he's going to get another contract after his rookie deal is up. But yeah, if Denny starts, Corey's behind him at the small forward. You got Jordan Poole, the shooting guard. Landry Shamet is that shooting guard. Then at 4, you got Kyle Kuzma and Gallinari is the backup 4, and Gafford is the starting center, and Muscala is the backup 5. So any depth chart that I'm looking at right now, honestly, Bilal is a third string guy. He's a third string shooting guard or a third string small forward, or he's a third string power forward. So, and Wes is trying to win, man. And I brought up many times, Anthony Gill. He's one of Wes's favorites. He will play any veteran over a young guy. He played Anthony Gill over Rui. He played Anthony Gill over Denny. He's played Anthony Gill over numerous young guys that we rather have seen get playing time. And Wes he's a guy that's fighting for his job. He just saw a coaching staff overhaul, which I don't know how much control he had over that decision, bringing in Vanderpool, Brian Keefe. Wes knows that, he wants to win. He's probably right now looking at wins over development. And that's where I think they made a mistake with keeping him. And that might have not been their decision. That probably was Stalianos' decision. But they should have started fresh. But it's a business. I get they want to showcase some guys like Shamet, Gallo, DeMond Wright, whoever, Muscala, all these veterans. They're going to play a lot. And whether we like it or not, a lot of these veterans are going to play. But I think for Bilal's development, he has a lot of things to work on. If he's only going to get 10 minutes a game, then let him play about 30 minutes in the G League. He doesn't have to play 10, 20 games in the G League, but maybe he can get his feet wet in the G League, get his confidence up, put up 25, 5 blocks, 3 steals, 8 boards. I could see him doing something like that in the G League. Just let him show out. And I was looking at guys from last year that played in the G League. There was a lot of good rookies that played in the G League. Usman Jang played in the G League.
Yep.
Dalen Terry, he didn't have a good year, but he played in the G League. Malachi Brandon for the Spurs played in the G League. Johnny Davis played in the G League. He played 18 games in the G League. He had an up and down rookie year. Mark Williams from the Hornets, he had a couple double-doubles. He ended up having a good rookie season. He played in the G League. So a lot of guys played in the G League last year. Ochai Agbaji played in the G League. So that's my point, is that it's not the end of the world if Bilal plays in the G League. So I wouldn't panic if he plays in the G League. Yes, it's not a sexy thing for your rookie to play in the G League, but it's a developmental process, and I'm not surprised at all. I'm just not surprised. It's a murky roster. It's a kind of jumbled up log jam at some spots at the roster. So the roster is jumbled up right now, and they definitely need a consolidation trade, and it's not going to happen until February. And that's the unfortunate thing about it. So you're really going to wait to the trade deadline to really see some guys play. Because I'd rather see Pat Baldwin play than some of the veterans, to be honest. I'd rather see Ryan Rollins play than some of the veterans, but they're just not going to get that opportunity because you got so many guys on the roster. So it's going to be a weird season. This is Will Dawkins and Travis Schlenk and Michael Winger's first season. So it's going to be a weird season, but they definitely have to keep that first round pick. I'll say that. Because they gotta be, it's top 12 protected, so they gotta be at least, and I think they will have a record bad enough to get that pick. But yeah, I'm going on a tangent, so it's definitely got people riled up. I understand, but it's a developmental process, and I think a few games I think a few G League games would actually help them. I actually think they would help them.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that, I get why they might be upset, especially if you look at the draft position and the fact we traded up for him. But I mean, confidence is the name of the game for a young guy, man. And look, that's part of development. You want his mind to be right. So I think that him playing in the G League, like you said, 30 plus minutes, get some good games down there. It should do a lot of help for the young guy, man. So I'm with it.
Yeah, and weight room. He needs to get in the weight room. He needs to get stronger. Will Dawkins talked about nutrition in the previous press conference. And one thing I will say, another thing too, is that the G League program has done a good job. Jordan Goodwin has looked good in the G League. We had Gary Payton II, who left, of course. He was in the G League program. There's a couple other guys that have played well in the G League. That Quentin Jackson, even though Quentin Jackson didn't work out in the summer league, he did look good at the end of the year. He had some good games. So we've had a couple guys that have played pretty well in our G League developmental team.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So we're gonna get on to some other Wes Unseld Jr. quotes. There was another one that stood out to me about Johnny Davis, but before we do get into that, today's episode is brought to you by DoorDash. Missing the syrup for your pancakes or just ran out of your favorite coffee creamer? With DoorDash grocery delivery, you can get what you want right when you need it. Love the convenience of getting what you want right to your door. With DoorDash grocery delivery, you can stock up for the week or order last-minute cravings conveniently. You trusted DoorDash to deliver your restaurant favorites, and now you can get grocery delivery that actually delivers too. With thousands of grocery stores to choose from, you'll find the best in your neighborhood and boost your local economy with each and every order. Get 50% off your first DoorDash order up to a $20 value when you use code LOCKEDONNBA at checkout. Limited time offer, terms apply. That's 50% off up to $20. No minimum subtotal and zero delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter code LOCKEDONNBA. Don't forget that's code LOCKEDONNBA for 50% off your first order with DoorDash. All right, so we're talking about the Wizards playing faster, but the answer to me that I wanted to bring up about Johnny as well. Somebody asked him about Johnny Davis and his playing time. Will he be a rotation player? And then Wes Unseld Jr. kind of didn't really give a concrete answer. He said he won't put an expectation in writing for Johnny Davis to be in the rotation. So that kind of stood out to me too, is that, he couldn't even just say straight up that Johnny's going to be a rotation player.
Yeah.
He just said, I don't want to put an expectation on it. And that's kind of telling too, that he will play Shamet. He may play Jordan Poole, of course, 40 minutes, and then Shamet may get 20 minutes behind him, and Tyus and DeLon. So, I mean, it's just Wes being Wes.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely telling, though. I mean, this is it for Johnny, man. If he gets playing time, especially after the deadline, and he does not play up to expectations, that's it, in my opinion, because there's no loyalty. Look, Bilal is their first pick for this front office. So, I mean, Denny, he's playing for a contract. I mean, Johnny, he's playing for a role in this team. And Kispert, Kispert, he kind of is what he is. He's a shooter who can cut. Defensively, he's not the most polished. But, yeah, Johnny, man, when he gets minutes. But even then, like you said, it was – that's the way he said it. It was like, man, look, is the brother going to get some minutes, man? Like, I mean, he was just like, man, he ain't trying to commit to nothing.
Right.
So I mean, as far as Johnny Davis, maybe we'll see before the deadline because Shamet's ahead of him, Kispert could be ahead of him, but after the deadline, if he does not get significant minutes off the second unit, that could tell you all you need to know about his future in DC.
Right. Yeah, the fact that he couldn't even say yes. I mean, come on, man, you can't even say that he's going to be a rotation. We're not asking you to say that he's going to start, but can he at least be in the rotation? I mean, goodness. So yeah, so Wes was definitely like, yeah, I'm ready for Wes, and I mean, we've been saying this all summer that we know Wes is going to go with the vets. Yeah, that's just what he's shown. He's shown it the past couple of years, so it's not much of a surprise. We're going to move on to the quote where he talked about the team playing faster. So that is somewhat of a. I mean, they say this every year.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts? I'm going to read it word for word here. Let me see if I can find it. Josh Robbins from The Athletic, he tweeted out. He said, "Asked generally about the Wizards' new look roster, Wes Unseld Jr. said the team should have the ability to play faster this season and should have more shooting on the floor." What are your thoughts about this? Do you think this is something that Wes is actually going to make happen here, or the players are just going to force it to happen?
I think that it behooves him for for the pace to be faster and 3-point shooting to be better. That was the two biggest issues last year outside of defense, especially transitional defense. Lord have mercy. But yeah, I think if that's DC basketball. I was thinking about it before the episode. John Wall. What do you do? We pushed the pace. We made the playoffs off of faster pace. Russell Westbrook. If you look at the career high for Bradley Beal, it came out of what? Playing next to Russ. You saw more out of Rui. You saw more out of Denny. It's just I think that pushing the pace is definitely the best answer for getting the most out of his offense. This whole bringing up, the Spencer Dinwiddie offense where you bring it up and then you're trying to set up the offense and then before you know it's 16 seconds and it came out the clock and then it's hot potato. Pushing the pace is something that I think is desperately needed. Because look at the roster. You got guys who can run. Even Gaff can run, man. You can see them lobs off the transition. I think this offense is better suited with a faster pace.
Right. Yeah, I think so too. And you heard a lot of guys in the press conference at the end of the year saying that they wanted to push the pace. So this is something they've been saying. Is it something that is actually going to happen? Because Wes, he's a slow, methodical guy. He likes to take his time. He likes to take time with possessions and slow it down. So the personnel, Jordan Poole, if he has the ball, like in Will Dawkins, they're kind of saying different things because Will Dawkins, it sounds when he talks about Bilal, he wants Bilal to play this year.
Yeah,
in games, not the G League games. But yeah, and Will Dawkins said yes, Jordan Poole is going to have the ball in his hands more. I think Wes doesn't really have a choice. Jordan Poole is going to have the ball in his hands because he's just going to be the best player on the court at times. So yeah, it's something we'll see. And you brought up John Wall. They had no choice but to push the pace. When you have one of the fastest players in the game of basketball, John Wall, you just had no choice but to play to his strengths. And we haven't had a guard in the last couple since Russell Westbrook to really push the Monte Morris is a slow, steady Eddie guy. Spencer is very slow, steady Eddie guy. And you got a guy who's Jordan Poole who's faster. Doesn't have nearly the speed that John Wall had.
Yeah.
But he's a guy that certainly is quicker and shiftier than Monte. And I love DeLon, but he's faster than DeLon and on offense and what's the other guy's name? Spencer Dinwiddie. So yeah, they're definitely going to push the pace. That's going to be best for this team. It's a young running team. Gafford's better when we run. So, yes, it would be in his best interest to push the pace. So, but we'll see. We'll see if that happens. Another quote that stood out, there was one about Denny, which was a positive tweet. Let me see if I can find it. There was a couple of tweets that I like that stood out. Okay, so, yeah, I found it. So, he said that Denny looks strong. I think he had a tremendous summer as well. Josh Robbins also said there was some talk overseas a couple months ago that Denny was dealing with a hip injury, and Wes Unseld Jr. indicated now that Denny is set to participate fully in camp on Tuesday. What were your thoughts about that answer?
Easy, man. No excuses. Excuses are done, man. There's no excuse. Look, this is a contract year. The ball's in his court. He's getting, just talking to him improving offensively. This is the time to show it. So, that's what brings to me, man. There's no excuses. Nobody's in front of him. They're going to give him playing time. He might start out at the wing, but I think what they're going to do this year, man, because I was thinking about, between the battle between him and Kispert for who starts at the 3. I think both of them could, depending on the matchup. You can see both of them start significant games at the 3. But, yeah, Denny, man, no excuses. This year is a contract year. If he doesn't perform, if he does not play at expectations, that's on him. Because there's nobody in front of him again. Can't use that excuse. They gave him the offseason to get right, to work on his game. So, yeah, no excuses.
Right. Yeah, and another thing I'll say about Bilal, too, is that you got to look at how he jumped onto the scene. Like, he didn't really get up on draft boards until late in the draft process.
Yeah.
When he got into play. And he's so young. I think he's like the second youngest player in the draft or something like that. So he's so young. He's still growing. He's growing to his body. So, he's going to have some awkward games here and there, some awkward shooting games. So I don't think the G League is just the worst thing in the world for him at this point. So, but yeah, the Denny comment, it's put up or shut up for him. He's healthy. No excuses coming in. He was injured last year or hurt a little bit. And I had to battle through that. So he's fully healthy. He did what the coaching staff and the GM in the front office asked him to do. So kudos to him for that. And he's been training and working hard. So he has. I've never questioned his work ethic. He's a super hard worker.
Yeah,
he'll work out after the game. He'll get shots up after the games, and we've seen him on Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff like that, and posting himself working out. So I've never questioned his work ethic. But let me see if there's any other. This is about the roster, since they have about 15, 17 guys on the roster. Where is that? Do you have that quote up? Because I'm looking for it. I know I got it, but okay, I found it. Okay. So yeah, Josh Robbins, once again, he said the Wizards will need to reduce their conventional roster from 17 players to 15 players before the start of the regular season. So how does Wes Unseld Jr. plan to go about that? He answered, quote, I think just healthy competition will give everybody an opportunity. What are your thoughts about that answer?
Love it, man. Love it. One battle I'm looking for, man, is the obvious one. Kispert and Denny. I want to see them hustle. I want to see them earn that spot. I want to see what they can do, man. Training camp, preseason, I want to see them battle. But, what I'm trying to think what other battles, because, with the veterans expiring, and it's tough to see other battles. But overall, you want to see a competitiveness from everybody. You want people to earn their spots, especially on you can say there are guaranteed spots, but look, a lot of people showcasing. This is a young team. This is a rebuilding team, especially these young guys that weren't drafted underneath this front office. They need to work their butt off because, look, they have no loyalty. They're going to flip people. They're going to try to get as many picks and young pieces as they can. So, yeah, Denny and Kispert is the battle I'm looking forward to, man. I want to see, the best man win the small forward position.
Right. Yeah, so, I mean, with the 17 guys, they got to break it down to 15. You got Xavier Cooks. You got Anthony Gill. What's going to happen with those guys? I mean, you brought in Todd Gibson, so one of those guys is certainly not going to make the roster.
Yeah.
Jared Butler, two-way player. He'll probably be on the G League team. Ryan Rollins most likely will be, bouncing around from the G League to the roster, to the regular roster as well. So the guys really that are looking on the outside looking in, is probably Gill and Xavier Cooks.
Yeah.
At this point, even though I know Wes really, really likes Anthony Gill a lot. And Tommy Shepard signed Xavier Cooks, so they have no loyalty to him either. But yeah, we'll definitely talk about that Denny versus Corey matchup. That certainly is the biggest battle, but we'll certainly talk about that and break that down. So, is there any other quotes that stood out to you?
Nah, man, that is pretty much the meat and potatoes of the press conference. Those, I thought those were the core ones because it really tells you where he's at as far as his game plan and But you brought up Xavier Cooks and Gill, man. Wouldn't that be like the most underwhelming battle ever? You're gonna take turns diving on the court, but yeah, we'll see, man. Like I said, this season is pretty much two phases: before the deadline and after the deadline. So it's gonna be a lot of hard decisions need to be made by this front office. But I got confidence in the front office, man. So I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, and we'll see. The preseason games will be big as they do play an NBL team, which Xavier Cooks did play for as well. And then one last thing Unseld said about Jordan Poole since he arrived: there's a level of maturity for a 24-year-old wise beyond his years, ready to step into a leadership role. Guys really gravitate towards him. So nothing but good things for that I've heard about Jordan Poole so far about his leadership.
Yeah, leadership. Yeah, absolutely. He's done all the right things coming in here, man. He seems like, he's hungry. He's ready to light this league on fire, man. So I've seen all the good things from Jordan Poole, man, especially going back to the Draymond Green, not saying nothing, not clapping back. He's taking the grown man's approach to coming to DC, man. So I'm very excited to see what he can do on the court and off the court, man. That's another thing we don't talk about is that we have a rich tradition of players who do a lot with the community, man. So I like to see, either Kyle Kuzma or Jordan Poole, because I think Poole's going to be here for a while, pick up the mantle, man, from Bill, and see what he does off the court too. So I'm excited for the future of DC for Jordan Poole.
Yes, sir. All right, we're going to wrap it up here, guys. We just want to make sure you guys have a great weekend.
Yes, sir.
We'll see what the Commanders do this weekend. It's an uphill battle, but they do have a better matchup against the Bears, so I'm excited for Thursday night football next week. I'm just going to look past the game on Sunday, honestly. But yeah, we just want to thank you guys for watching and making us your first listen every day. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit the notification bell, and check us out next week. It's, I think, Media Day. I gotta check when Media Day is, but that we'll probably be doing training camp battle season previews and Media Day, since it is getting very close to the first preseason game. Hail to the Wizards. Peace.